Hi guys, Dave here. We're doing another episode of Budget Survival for my series. So, today we have the Coghlan Survival Kit. Pretty large kit here. Now I got this for 22 bucks at either KW Surplus in Kitchener, Waterloo, or at Cambridge Surplus in Cambridge. I think it was KW, actually. But I went to both places, and I just nosed around in there for a little bit, grabbed a couple of things, and this is one of the things I grabbed for that. Okay, so, contents. Oh, first of all, designed and equipped to meet the needs of individuals or small groups in most survival situations. Okay, so that's the premise that I'm going on for this particular thing here. I'm going to assume that this has everything I need to make up a campsite that's going to shelter me, keep me warm, and basically get me through a situation where, you know, there's, like, my car broke down and I'm stuck somewhere overnight, and for some reason maybe I can't stay in the car, or, you know, whatever. This is saying, you know, this is going to get me through, you know, at least an overnight, if not a little bit longer, because it's got some stuff in here to fish. So it has a way to get food, which kind of tells me that it's supposed to be more of a 72-hour kit. But we all know how these budget things are. Some are great, some of them are not. If it'll get me through the night, it's a pass. So, and that's without using my buck knife, or my get lost bag, or whatever. This is supposed to have whatever I need, designed and equipped to meet the needs of individuals or small groups in most survival situations. So, all right. What does it have in it? It's got a survival guide, 2 razor blades, a needle, a signal whistle, a notepad, a 5-hour candle, a poncho, a salt packet, 2 safety pins, a pencil, 2 fishing hooks with 30 feet of fishing line, food, a spool of thread, a compass, 2 sinkers, matches, signal mirror, a 12-hour light stick, 2 fire sticks, emergency blanket, 10 feet of snare wire, more food, it's more and more looking like 72-hour kit, at least, 35 feet of nylon cord, 4 antiseptic pads with 4 1x3-inch bandages, and a 3x3 sterile pad with a 2x3 elastic patch. 2x3-inch elastic patch. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Like, that might be one of those sticky things. We'll find out. 12 feet of nylon rope, 48 feet of orange trail tape, 4 3/8 by 1.5-inch bandages, and 2 4-inch adhesive strips, and the 7-inch by 10-inch waterproof pouch. So the sort of dry bag thing that it comes in. Okay, so it actually, reading it, looks pretty good. It's got some, you know, basic first aid. It's, you know, got some stuff in it here. Cordage. Survival blanket. Doesn't say how big it is. But, whatever. Well, so, you know what? I don't want to mess that up, so I'm just gonna that keep it somewhat okay condition. So one thing that they kind of forgot on the packaging, that I think maybe they should have called some attention to. This net pouch could make a decent dip net. You could catch crayfish, frogs, minnows, maybe, you know, small fish. You can catch food with that if you're diligent. could work. All right. So, survival guide. In English and French, because we're in Canada. Practical and concise help for surviving in the wilderness or other adverse conditions. So the introduction, the philosophy of survival, basically, you know, the mind frame that you want to be in kind of thing. Factors affecting survival, and it goes into that fear, pain, cold, thirst, hunger, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, the 4 primary survival concerns. Number 1, warmth. Number 2, shelter. Goes pretty in depth into shelter and staying dry and warm and whatever. Number 3, water, and number 4, food. Okay, not too bad. Talks about hypothermia and the symptoms of hypothermia. It's got a section on signaling for signal fires using the mirror, lights, flags, sound, ground markings, and waving. The Coghlan survival kit goes into basically what everything is in it, what it does, and you know, kind of whatever. Suggested additions in personalizing your survival kit. So first of all, they say medication, water purification tablets, fire starter, and they give you product numbers for some of these things that you can get from Coghlans. So yeah, personal medication, that's a given. Water purification tablets, and there's some SKU numbers or PLUs or whatever they're called that you can actually order from them. Now they do expire, so putting them in a kit like this might not necessarily be a great idea. I don't know what water purification tablets are like when they expire, but I know when aspirin expires, it can be deadly. So at the very worst, you're going to use an expired tablet. You're not going to realize it. You're going to get cryptosporidia or giardia or something along that lines. You're going to get sick, and then you know, oh, it's their fault, blah, blah. So that's probably why it's not in there. Fire starter, why, you know, why wouldn't they have, well, wait a minute, I think I read, yeah, there's fire starter in there, so put more in is what they're saying. Knife, eyeglass repair kit, and insect repellent. So, and then on to the French. So we got 15 pages of like survival thing here, which is better than, you know, a lot of the stuff. I mean, you know, I think it's like Bear Grylls has a little booklet. Not saying that, you know, it's a bad thing. This seems to go a little more in depth, so hey, why not? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition the camera. I'm going to set up down on the ground, and I'm going to go through this, and we're going to see, you know, what exactly we're getting here. So give me a second. All right. So I've seen bags like this before. Same company, whatever. I have used them. They're for cheaper dry bags. They're actually pretty good. They're not bad. So, first thing we're going to dig out is a poncho. 50 inches by 80 inches. So, was that a little over 4 feet by 6.5? 72. Yeah, it was about a little over 6.5. So for those of us in Canada, that's 1.27 meters by 2.03 meters. So that could very well be part of a shelter, or it could just be a poncho. You could probably collect resources into it as well. I don't, you know, lightweight, reusable, one size fits all. Oh yeah, I put it down on the ground and a stick pokes through. So it's not. It's a little better in saran wrap, but it's not very thick. All right, so be careful with that. Light stick. 12-hour light stick. Yeah, I got a bunch of these for camping before, for all the kids that were going to be there. Not one of them worked. Not a single one of them actually worked. Now, I did get them from the dollar store, not from like anywhere decent. But it's such a beautiful day out. There's no way I can actually test this where you could see that it actually works. So, might have to do that, you know, at a different time. Because it's just so nice out here right now. Okay, so we got some razor blades, we got a bunch of cordage, we got some snare wire, a spool of thread. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff in here. You know, I don't know about those sinkers, but they look like decent hooks. That ain't half bad. They look like decent hooks. Is the fishing line in here? Because that's what I want to check out. Okay. I actually have my fishing license with me today. So, you never know. We might just test out that fishing kit. There we go. Dave. 2019. Fishing license. Might do some fishing with that. You never know. See how much battery power I have when I'm done playing with this thing. Trail tape. All right. There's a kid that don't sound very happy. There's also a raccoon that don't sound very happy. He's chirping. So, yeah, you know, I mean, it doesn't have to be like huge high quality, but it looks like decent quality. You can mark your trails. You can, you know, make your campsite kind of whatever. You might even be able to use it as lightweight cordage for something. So that's. Woo. Yeah, that's kind of ear piercing. Yep, I've used that before. I know it works. Oh, right. Ooh. So here's the survival blanket. Might be a good size. Matches. And it's, okay, so it's in a waterproof bag and it's sealed into a Ziploc bag to really protect these things. So they're using their noggins, you know. Double redundancy. There's that. Okay, that's paraffin. So, you know, I mean, you're probably not making a shelter where it's going to make much of a big deal, but you probably don't want to use that inside a vehicle for too long with a window not down. Okay, I don't want to flash myself with that mirror, but okay, so it's not glass, which is good. You know, don't get me wrong, it's very good. It doesn't have, you know, that aiming hole in the middle, but, you know, I'm sure we can figure that out on our own, right? And that is actually also, it's good to help check yourself for ticks at the end of every day. So that is definitely good. We've got some relatively decent first aid here. Alcohol prep pad, adhesive strips, all that kind of jazz. Not bad at all. Basic little boo-boo kit going there. Okay, this is not a Write in the Rain notepad, but it is a notepad with a little pencil. So you can jot down your thoughts, your feelings, all that kind of stuff. Salt pack. You know, I expected a little bit of a bigger salt pack, but it's salt, you know. Salt's useful. If you don't know why, look it up. I'm not going to go into that because this is going to be a long enough video as it is. Okay, we have a button compass. that points north. Son of a gun. The magnet is not very strong, so it takes a minute to get around there. Little slow, little mopey. Does work. Does work. This one does work. So I don't really have a whole lot of faith in these things. But this one points north. And you know, I know this area pretty well, and I know what direction north is. I really should remember to bring my good compass to show you that it actually works. But, I mean, you know, I wouldn't lie to you guys. Trust me. Take my word for it. This works. And because it works, that's going right into my get lost bag. Yeah. All right. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put all the first aid back into the bag, because we don't want our first aid stuff getting dirty. All right. Oh. Now I'm going to reposition the camera a little bit, and we're going to set up camp. Okay, so I think this is where we're gonna set up. Now, in my last video of testing a survival kit, trying to set up a campsite, whatever, it had no cordage, and when I was telling a buddy of mine about it, he said, "Well, why didn't you just cut a ridgepole?" Okay, for the now, I'm surrounded in hawthorn. This is what I have available, is hawthorn. So a ridgepole might not necessarily be available at any given time to anybody. You know, I mean, I don't want to try to rip one of these things down and make a ridgepole out of it. You know, so the rules, more or less, use what's in the kit. Does it do what it says it's going to do? Well, let's find out. So, first of all, well, there's the sewing needle. I guess that's one place to put it. Put it in one of those for now. I don't want to get stuck with that. Don't want to get stuck with that any more than I want to get stuck by a hawthorn. All right. Now there may or may not be something to make a bed out of where you happen to break down or whatever, but or wherever you happen to need this kit, you never know. But I am not going to go through making a raised bed for the purposes of this video, because I will not be sleeping out here. But I'm sure we all know by now, a raised bed is always a good idea. You want to be up off the ground. always want to be up off the ground. I want to stay warm and dry, all that kind of, you know. I'm sure mine is not the first video you guys have watched about it, so you know why. And if it is the first video you've watched about survival, good for you for taking an interest, and yeah, definitely check out why you want to raise bait. All right. Okay. We have a ridgeline, ladies and gentlemen. That is further than we got before. Liking it already. Okay. Do we sleep wrapped up in the blanket or the poncho? Well, first of all, I don't even know how big this blanket is, but I can tell you an emergency blanket should not be touching your skin. So if you're done up, long sleeves, you know, kind of whatever, then wrap up in the blanket. If you're in shorts and short sleeves and whatever, you're probably going to want to wrap up in the poncho. But I'm curious as to how big this thing is. So, wow. That's not very big. You know, I mean, it's big enough. It'll work, but it's long enough. It should be a little bit wider, I think. That's, you know, I mean, I'm the fat guy in the woods, man. I need to wrap up a little bit more than that. Eh? All right, well. It's wrapped up double. Where's the end? It's buried in here somewhere. There they are, all the way at the bottom. So in order to get to the end, either end, you gotta unspool the whole thing. All right. Not bad. That's got some strength. It's already friggin' tangled because I had to unroll the whole thing to get to the end. Unbelievable. Yep. So apparently, what are they called? Goldenrod. You get these little balls on them. That apparently is caused by some sort of an insect. I can't fully remember which one. But I think it makes a good button. So there we go. Okay. There we are. Okay. Normally I'd try to save this because this is decent cord, but that is just, no. Let's see. Stupid. Okay. Button number 2. Snail shell. That'll work, right? Lots of snail shells all over the place here. Some pine cone will work. Some dirt. Just about anything that isn't gonna puncture through space blanket, because these things are kind of iffy. You get a puncture in them, they just go. I really could have picked a better spot than this. But like I say, I'm in the hawthorns, and I wanted to point out that you can't always rely on like getting a ridge pole or, you know, really utilizing much of anything every single time. You know, you might not have goldenrod to have these little buttons. You might not have snail shells laying around. What you might have is moss. Okay. I don't have access to, you know, anything to make a decent ridgepole out of right now, right here. So you kind of have to do what you got to do, right? Survival isn't camping. It's not necessarily fun. It's not necessarily glamorous. It's not necessarily something that you ever want to find yourself caught into. But if it has to come to it, you at least want to know what you're doing and be prepared. All right. Now let's assume I gathered up grass, leaves, I don't know, whatever. And I've got myself a bit of a raised bed. I don't want to spend the time doing that right now, just for a quick test. And honestly, there's a lot of deer in here. And by default, there's generally a lot of ticks. So, okay. It'll work. I wouldn't enjoy having to sleep in here. But, oh, it'll work. What did I just get caught on here? Alright. I don't know, whatever. What about this poncho? I would have liked to have gotten a place where the trees were spaced out a little bit wider, but like I say, it's all hawthorn in here, and I wanted to shoot in hawthorn for the expressed reason of you might not necessarily have access to, you know, proper building materials. This is not something you want to grab a hold of. And, you know, I mean, when you go to shoot a YouTube video, I don't care what it's about. You pick your setting, right? When you're in a situation where, you know, a few bad mistakes or some unlucky hapstances ends you up in a survival situation, you don't get to choose where that happens. And you could very well be in a crud like this. Okay, so the poncho wouldn't be good as a shelter. Basically, it's a garbage bag with a hood, but not one of the heavy-duty garbage bags. But that'll work. That will work. You know, you just can't be too rough with it. Oh no. And oh, I'll tell you, she's already getting warm in here. It is such a beautiful day out. Putting this thing on, oh my. I could pull that a little more taut, pull it in a little bit more. Whew. Gets warm in there quick on a day like today. No breathability in that. Okay, so you got your poncho, you throw that on. You probably do a better job than I did, but you know, it was a quick thing. To be honest, I was frustrated about that cordage. I couldn't believe that a survival company like or whatever would do something that stupid. All right. I don't think we're gonna get drier wood than this. Holy jumpins. This is super old dead rot, but it's dry. Which is amazing. Yesterday was a beautiful day. I went out on a bit of a hike. I tried to shoot some videos. None of them worked. None of them turned out. But that's okay because it's a super beautiful day again today, and we're doing her again. So is that wax, or that is super soaked on that end. I'm gonna use the other end. Okay, now I am technically within the city limits of London, and this is super not allowed. I really shouldn't be lighting a fire here. And I know I shouldn't. But First match. Not bad. Normally I don't like these things. Wooden matches, if anything, but I normally don't like matches. My old Zippo lighter, or ferro rod, but this didn't come with it. One match, one piece of a fire stick. I didn't feather it up or nothing. I just broke it off, threw it in, lit it with a match. You know, fire's going great. Now I'm curious about the fishing line. What do we got here? Garbage. I can't fish with that. All right. Ugh, I can't set snares. Not here. There's dogs running around. There's people everywhere. So, it made me fire. It made me shelter. Some of it could be reusable. I imagine I could fold the poncho back up. Space blankets, yeah, they're a little bit problematic, but I mean, with enough diligence, yeah, you could. The cord I use for a ridgeline, yeah, I could reuse that. No water. I'm passing it because it could get me overnight. Setting that thing up in this weather right now, I'm already thirsty. And there's no water purification in that. So as a 72 hour, I would not want to go 72 hours with just that and no water purification. It is kind of nice that they put it in the booklet. You know, hey, you might want to add some of that to this thing. A lot of people might not necessarily open it up and read that until they're in a situation where, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, that would have been handy. So, if you own one and you're checking out this video for a review, or if you are thinking about buying a kit and you're looking for something that's not going to be super expensive and, you know, will take care of most of your needs, get yourself water purification tablets or a water filter of some kind to back up that kit. And it could probably get you 72 hours. Replace the fishing line. Definitely, first thing, get yourself some decent 10-pound test or something, replace the fishing line. And other than that, yeah, it's worth the 22 bucks. It's, you know, it made me a shelter, it made me fire. It was relatively easy to do, except for that one stupid part where the cordage was all knotted and tangled and, you know, whatever, because you had to disentangle the whole thing to get at the ends. So rewrap it or take it, throw it away, and put some better stuff in there, paracord, you know, whatever. Either way, it got the job done. I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna stop ranting and raving about that cord. So Coghlan's survival kit in a dry bag with a net bag, 22 bucks ish. I paid 22. Yeah, that's a pass. So I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for going on that little rant about stupidity, but it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, or a major psychotic hatred, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you do too. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, you know, the usual stuff. And hopefully I'll see you around. If not, I'll see you in the next one.